In 1938, NBC executives came up with an idea for a radio show. Have listeners call in with trivia questions to stump the live panelists. Submit a question that stumped the panelists and you would win a fantastic prize, $10. But wait, there's more. You'll get $10 and an encyclopedia. Sounds pretty great, doesn't it? Soon enough, more shows would be created to engage contestants with games and trivia. Encyclopedias weren't offered in most of these shows, but huge cash prizes would be yours if you're invited to take part and answer the questions correctly. Little did the producers know, the concept of a game show would revolutionize television forever. Jeopardy is arguably the most successful game show ever made. Answer the questions of all different topics, and money would be no more than a half hour away. There were still a few issues with this format, however. There was a restriction put in place that forced contestants to step down as champion after 5 consecutive wins. This meant that the most outstanding contestants wouldn't be able to display their true potential. The restriction was lifted in late 2003, and soon enough, trivia powerhouses would rake in hundreds of thousands of dollars.
Now they can win as many games as their talents will allow. And that could mean perhaps champions leaving us with $250,000 or $500,000. Who knows?
Removing the 5-day cap on winnings for Jeopardy did create another problem. Making this money was very time-consuming. Several games are recorded each day, but taking 45 minutes to record one episode still meant that it would take a 10-day champion about 8 hours on camera to earn their profits. Other shows adapted and made new formats that accounted for this lengthy recording process. If broadcasts wanted to increase the hourly rate at which money was made, they would have to lower the playtime or increase the jackpot.
Is Buddy Holly worth $1 million?
Any contestant who wanted to be successful on a game show would have to put in a lot of time and effort to pass several audition stages. Famous Jeopardy contestant James Holzhauer took a year off from his job as a sports gambler just to study for his appearance. You might study hours on end, and that wouldn't even guarantee you an in-person audition. There had to be a more accessible way to play competitive trivia. This would spark the creation of a new type of trivia game. In July 2017, the two founders of the social media platform Vine would create HQ Trivia. Russ Yusupov and Colin Kroll used their love of game shows as the catalyst.
We thought, hey, if we'd build a game show that we would actually play ourselves, that it just might work.
The premise was simple. Answer multiple choice trivia questions about everything from literature to pop culture. If you get a question wrong, you would be eliminated. But if you answer them all correctly, you would win a share of the pot. Anyone could make a few bucks in a matter of minutes by playing a video game. Surely this could catch on. One of the hosts of HQ Trivia, Sarah Priebus, was kind enough to sit down with us and talk about her experiences behind the camera at HQ Trivia.
I think it was fun. It was so low pressure though at the time because no one knew what HQ Trivia was. I would say there were less than 100 players in that game. The stakes were super low, so it was really like any other audition.
July 17th, 2017 would mark the beginning of the HQ Trivia Twitter. HQ would be available in beta testing until August 27th, when HQ had its public release. HQ began airing daily in its beta phase with a prize of $50. That might seem like not a lot of money, but only a few hundred players and 12 questions stood between you and a share of the money. People weren't used to the live mobile trivia format, so the number of winners would often be very low.
It was this like really communal thing that joined people from all over the place to kind of like play this game together with strangers and then with family, like family being in different places throughout the country, throughout the world.
The crowd would soon become acquainted with HQ's eccentric host, Scott Rogowski.
Life can't quit, what? Knowing your facts and counting stacks, let's get lit, what? This is it, what? This is it, baby! You did it! You made it to the end of the week!
Scott Rogowski was an emerging comedian before he hosted HQ Trivia. For the past few years, he hosted a live talk show called Running Late with Scott Rogowski. The show had its share of clips going viral online, but that was the extent of Scott's fame. Scott wasn't just the quizmaster. He had that personal charm when hosting.
He's iconic as a trivia host. He's basically the face of trivia. He's still an iconic figure and was one of the main reasons HQ took off. I mean, he's such a big personality.
HQ would experiment around with several different gameplay times, but they would soon become acquainted with going live daily at 9 p.m. Eastern Time and eventually every weekday at 3 p.m. Eastern Time. Afternoon games could be played on lunch breaks, and in the evening, you could play while you were around friends and family. The game was beginning to become more popular, though the term popular is incredibly vague. What defines success in the sense of mobile trivia? The history of mobile trivia seems to return time and time again to 3 signs of success. First, large media coverage. This first sign of success would often be the first sign achieved by companies, given that this didn't require money or viewership. Second, high payouts. The problem with this benchmark is, again, it's very vague. $100 payouts seem to be a good marker, though $500 payouts or $1,000 payouts were more than enough at this early stage of mobile trivia. Another issue with this marker is that it requires big jackpots, which can only be earned with large viewership. This brings us to the last marker, which is viewership. This term seems vague once again, but we can go back to our old trusty friend, television game shows, to get a good marker. The Game Show Network got around 400,000 viewers per day in primetime throughout 2018. We can also look at Jeopardy's viewership. Oh, that seems a bit lofty, so I'll say 1 million concurrent viewers would be more than enough to mark huge success, while 100,000 views is usually a good sign that the game is sustainable. Now that we have these markers, could HQ reach them? How fast could they reach these goals? October would mark the beginning of HQ's growth to stardom, when a TechCrunch article about the app would be released. The beginning of October had a few thousand watching each day. By October 20th, HQ would easily bring that view count above 30,000. The 100,000 viewer mark would be hit by the middle of November. HQ could now use the upcoming holiday season to push their growth into high gear. If Russ and Colin made the right decisions in this important time, HQ would hit astronomical heights. So, what would they do to grow the app? To start, Android users had no way to compete for quite a few months, since the app was only available on the iOS App Store. This problem would be solved by early December with the release of HQ Trivia on the Google Play Store. The expansion to Android would be incredibly successful, bringing up viewer counts and allowing for jackpots to increase. The jackpot would jump to $250 in October. However, that amount would soon grow to $1,000, $1,500, and then $2,000 by December 25th. It seemed like the viewership was growing faster than the money people could earn. Could payouts really increase? Yes. They could, and they did. $500 payouts, a $1,500 payout, and two $6,000 payouts. This didn't seem like a video game anymore. You had a chance of winning more than just money for a drink or two. The most viewers on an HQ Trivia broadcast went from around 3,000 in October to a staggering 730,000 by Christmas. By mid-January, HQ Trivia would raise their daily pot to $2,500. Nothing could stop HQ Trivia. Nothing except their servers. This rapid increase in views was unexpected. HQ would realize that they can't flood the game with a huge audience until the servers could handle that many people. The game had an audience of 1 million waiting to join the game in early January, but concern over breaking the server led HQ to cap viewership at 750,000.
If you were to make one prediction in 2018, it would be that HQ would crash on New Year's Eve, right? Yep, we did it. And that's because we had more people trying to play HQ tonight than there are in Times Square for the ball drop right now.
This was a sign of what was to come. The question on everyone's mind used to be, will HQ reach 1 million viewers? An answer was found. Now, people asked, when will HQ reach 1 million viewers? Little would they know, that debate would be settled very soon.
I'm in it for you to win it, so you better be too. What's there to win? HQ Pride. It's time to play HQ. Cafe Americano is what kind of drink? Orange juice and milk, coffee and water, parsley juice. What kind of drink is a Cafe Americano? The correct answer is over 1 million of you still in the game. You got that right.
January 7th, 2018, 9 p.m. Eastern Time. The host hadn't appeared on screen, yet the viewer count was already comfortably above 1 million. The number that answered Q1 confirmed that count. Now we have confirmation. HQ Trivia was the real deal. They reached the seemingly unreachable million viewer mark just 133 days after its public release. It seemed like the sky was the limit, and the craziest goals were now possible.
I think hosting the million player game was definitely a moment where I was like, holy cow, there are 1 million people playing this and tuning into this one app right now. That's just wild.
Well, if mobile trivia was so successful, why didn't other companies try to create their own games? When any company can join the competition will grow. This was no different from mobile trivia. Other creators wanted to have a go at mobile trivia, similar to the old days during the growth of game shows. The best part was that competition didn't bring HQ down in ratings. This only stoked the flames of mobile trivia and turned it into a true nationwide phenomenon.
It didn't really make much sense. It was kind of cryptic. They said how much they paid per show, and I was like, that seems a little bit too much, but whatever. So I submitted and she's come up with a few questions, and then I did it, and I had no idea what I was doing. It was so new that it was like, what is going on? And no one knew what was going on. It was just fantastic.